Welcome back to the Metalbar, and welcome to the one and only Rob Zombie. How are you, Rob?
I'm good.
Well, welcome back to New Zealand for the first time in 20 years?
Yeah. Were you born when I was last here?
I'm older than I look, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a lot happen for you in that period of time. Obviously, White Zombie's no longer, and you've been out solo for a long time. You're making movies. You're doing all sorts of cool stuff. From a dude that grew up listening to Kiss and Alice Cooper and loving B-grade sci-fi movies. This must be completely your life is like a dream come true.
I mean, it's great. I have nothing to complain about, even though sometimes I feel like I want to complain.
Yeah.
I always have to catch myself and realize, everything's great. To be able to do all the things that you always loved and wanted to do and have it work, it's fantastic.
Now, given the Rob Zombie, the creature live, as it were, is very much honed into that horror spectacle, and a lot of what you do movie-wise is horror as well. How do you define ideas for yourself between what you think will work on film and what you think is going to make good music?
I never really know what'll work. I just come up with an idea and I think, well, I find that kind of amusing. I think that'll work, but you never know. You try to get some sense of what, like musically it's hard to tell. Like I'll be working on songs, me and John Five a lot of times, and he always seems excited about everything, so he's actually not a good gauge. I'm like, you like everything. He's always excited about what we're doing, so I kind of have to be the bad cop and be like, it's not good enough. So that one's tricky. That one's a little easier, but movies are harder, because they're drawn out over such a long period of time, and whether or not the idea will work. In songs easier. It's 3 minutes, you play it. If someone doesn't like it, you're on to the next song, but a movie is... spend years doing it, and it's this one big chunk, and it's hard to figure out.
Yeah. Your latest movie, The Witches of Salem. You've had songs about that with some of the titles. In fact, are there other songs that you look back at now and you go, Werewolf Woman of the SS, that'd make a great movie?
Well, in a way, that was, that one, it's kind of a chicken or the egg. Sometimes a song will come first, like Lords of Salem was the song first, but actually it was an idea first. It was an idea for a comic book that never happened. And I thought, I like the title, I'll make it into a song, and then eventually it became a movie. Something like Werewolf Woman of the SS was a trailer. It was a fake trailer for a fake movie that was part of the Tarantino Rodriguez Grindhouse package, which at one point was almost going to be an actual movie. So it's sort of always, I try to keep these. The biggest thing I try to do is I have a lot of ideas, and people always come up to me, they probably do it to you, like, I have these ideas, but I go, ideas are worthless unless you make them come to life. So I always try to make them come to life in some form, because having just an idea doesn't.
Well, that leads in nicely to, before we started shooting this, I said that a friend of mine, Barney, is a big horror movie fan and a big metal fan, and he was absolutely dark on with me that I was getting to meet you. But I'd said to him, well, if I can ask Rob one question from you, what would it be?
Why did you bring Barney with you?
It's his dad's birthday, and he's taking him to lunch. I know. And he said, can you ask Rob, he's always been a big King Diamond fan, and he loved Abigail. He said, is there anything that Rob would like to do along that line where, you write a whole album maybe about Ed Gain or someone like that?
I'm trying to think. I've always toyed with the idea. No, nothing based on something from real life ever. But no, I'm always afraid of concept records, truthfully, because I feel like like I said before, it's almost like with a song, 3 minutes if it doesn't work on the next one. But if you've committed the whole album to this concept and you put the record on, you go like, this doesn't work. That's a long album to get through. So usually that's what's got me off the concept record idea.
Okay. Now, we talked about influences. I mentioned it briefly. And, I look at your live performance and you can, you see elements of Alice Cooper and things in there. But who was your biggest influence musically and movie-wise?
It's always been all over the place. Musically, I don't know. Musically, I'm not really sure sometimes. There's people that were so influential that it's almost like you can't even say they were influential because it's so much more than that. Being a kid growing up in the 70s, things like Alice Cooper and Kiss were just so monstrously big, but everything was big. Elton John, Queen, Oyster Cult, everything was like a big rock show. So that was really, it wasn't even an influence, it just was the way I accepted that the world existed. So I thought, okay, everything's big and crazy.
Yeah.
And as far as that time period for movies, the people that were really important then, every movie that was coming out seemed like a revolution, whether it be Star Wars or Close Encounters or whatever. So it was like anything like from Spielberg or Scorsese. I guess it's just the things that hit you as a kid I mean, later my influences got very honed into like really underground, obscure things I would hone in on. But just the main stuff that hit you as a kid, I guess, it was that stuff.
And when it comes to sitting down to write a record, you said that John 5's a terrible filter for you. do you?
He's too enthusiastic.
Far too enthusiastic. Is there a point of reference that you use? I mean, Rick Rubin recently, oh, well, not that recently, but Death Magnetic told Metallica go back and listen to Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. Dave Mustaine, I talked to him before. He said, recently he'd been listening again to Countdown. Is there a reference record for you that sometimes you go back to rediscover who Rob Zombie is to know that you're going on the right path?
I never go back and listen to anything that I've done because I feel like that's old news. I would never reference my own records. I mean, I might listen to records that I used to like as a kid and you go like, well, why did I like that record so much? Why did I think that was so crazy? But usually the funny thing is there's usually somebody in your life that you can play something for. When it was a long time ago, like 20-something years ago, there was one roadie we had for White Zombie, and this kid had the best sense in music. Like, he would see some band and go, they're going to be huge. And they would. Like, he just, every once in a while, you find something just like, he should have been an A&R guy. He had just such the greatest sense in music. And now, the person I play it for is, I always play it for my wife because she's always honest, and she'll be like, that is the shit. Or she'll just go, that is so corny. You cannot play that for people.
Right.
Like she did, and her gut reaction is pretty right on. So usually that's what I'll do.
Recently, the most recent single from the latest record is a cover of Grand Funk Railroad.
Yeah.
And you did a absolute, for me, best cover, Ramones cover I've ever heard with your version of Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, is there any point that you would like to go and maybe do a Monsters jukebox record and just remake a lot of your favourite tunes in your style?
I mean, maybe. The funny thing with doing covers, I find, is that it almost becomes more work than just writing more songs. Because you want to get in there and you want to make it your own and change it around. And every time we do a cover, I think, Jesus, we could have just wrote another song. It would have been easier than trying to make this cover sound interesting. So probably not. Playing American Band's fun. Sometimes I really love playing it. Sometimes I don't because it's not our song. So it doesn't, it's a weird feeling. But, I don't know. We'll probably do more. I've never done a lot of covers. I think it's because a lot of bands start by being cover bands first. I never did that. I was always like, White Zombie was my first band, and that was it. And it was like writing weird stuff from the get-go. So I don't know, probably something else.
Yeah, nice. And what is next for you after this tour finishes? Is it another album? Is it another movie? What's on the agenda?
It's both. We started making a new record before this tour started. We got about almost every song sort of kind of mapped out and recorded, so I'll go back in May and try to finish that or get as close to finish as I can on that. And then there'll be more touring all summer, going all through Europe, and then in the fall starting another movie. So hopefully there'll be a new movie and a new record this year.
Can you give us any hints of what this new movie's going to be?
Not really, but it's something I've never talked about. And every time I do an interview and I think I know what the next movie is, it's always something else. It always changes, and it changed again to this, which I don't know, for some reason I don't feel like telling anyone about yet. But I think it's something that the fans will be very excited about.
Excellent.
Yes.
Hey Rob, thanks very much for your time, man.
No problem. Thanks for
really
having me.
looking forward to seeing you on stage tonight. And
I am dying to play. I'm sick of sitting around this hotel.
Sweet, brother. Hey, thanks very much for your time.
Sure, no problem.